and you can see them with their hands up as they move through here to get them off campus. We're told that the school is in lockdown, but we see this from time to time in situations like this.
You can see here the sheriff's bringing another tactical vehicle into the scene here. But to get back to that parent, she had just heard that her son is okay, and he was telling her that right now they are in lockdown. A very tense situation for a lot of these parents out here wondering where their children are, a lot of them trying to text with their kids.
We've confirmed an active shooter, at least one on campus. We don't know much more than that.
Has she said anything about what's going on inside the school right now?
She has not. She says she can't talk on the phone. She's okay. That was after multiple phone calls to her.
Looking around, you see lots of parents and students here. Describe to us the general feeling in the air.
Fear.
Students were just settling into class. The morning bell had barely rung when gunfire echoed through the halls of Reynolds High School. Within minutes, a young life was stolen, and hundreds of others were trapped in terror. This is the story of what happened inside that Oregon high school on June 10, 2014. To understand the tragedy that unfolded at Reynolds High School, we need to first step into the world of the students and teachers who called it home. Troutdale, Oregon, is a small city located just 16 miles east of Portland. Nestled at the gateway to the Columbia River Gorge, it is surrounded by stunning natural beauty. The Columbia River stretches to the north, and Mount Hood towers in the distance. To many, Troutdale represents the quiet charm of the Pacific Northwest. It is a city with a population of just over 15,000 people, small enough that neighbors know each other, but large enough to have its own schools, parks, and community traditions. Families here chose Troutdale for its safe neighborhoods, its tree-lined streets, and the reputation of its schools. Many parents commuted into Portland for work, but at the end of the day, Troutdale offered a slower pace, a place to raise children. And at the center of this town's life was Reynolds High School. With nearly 2,800 students enrolled, Reynolds was one of Oregon's largest high schools. Its sprawling campus included classrooms, athletic fields, a swimming pool, a theater, and the gymnasium where students gathered for assemblies and games. On a normal weekday morning, you would find buses lined up in front, students streaming out with backpacks slung over their shoulders, and teachers greeting them at the doors. It was a school filled with diversity. Students came from Troutdale, Gresham, Fairview, and other surrounding communities. Dozens of languages were spoken in the hallways. Teachers described the atmosphere as vibrant, sometimes chaotic, but full of potential. Sports were a major part of life here. Friday night football games brought families to the bleachers. Soccer and track athletes trained after class. And in the gym, echoes of basketball practice and cheer routines filled the air. Arts and academics thrived too. The drama club performed plays for the community. The marching band played at parades. Advanced placement classes prepared students for college, while career programs helped others gain practical skills. Reynolds High wasn't just a building. It was a second home. It was where students shared their dreams, their struggles, and their friendships. For many, the years spent there would shape the rest of their lives. Parents trusted that sending their children to Reynolds meant they were safe. Yes, like any large school, there were the usual teenage dramas, hallway gossip, missed homework, and cafeteria cliques. But no one believed real danger could strike here. And yet, beneath this sense of security, America was already struggling with a troubling pattern. The nation was still reeling from the mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary in 2012, when 20 children and 6 adults were killed. Only a year earlier, in 2013, sparks of fear had spread with the shooting at Sparks Middle School in Nevada. Each tragedy raised questions, but for communities not directly affected, the fear still felt distant, something that happened somewhere else. For Troutdale, Oregon, and the families of Reynolds High, June 10, 2014, would change that belief forever. On that morning, what began as an ordinary school day, buses arriving, lockers slamming, students laughing, would soon transform into a nightmare. Reynolds High, like so many schools before it, would join a list no community ever wants to be on. June 10th, 2014, was supposed to be just another Tuesday. The end of the school year was near, and students at Reynolds High were already thinking about summer break. Seniors had just graduated the week before, and the mood on campus was lighter than usual. That morning, the skies over Troutdale were gray, a typical Pacific Northwest start to the day. School buses rolled up one after another, releasing teenagers carrying backpacks, chatting about exams, friends, and weekend plans. Inside the hallways, students moved quickly to their first classes. Teachers prepared lessons. The hum of morning chatter filled the air, and the intercom crackled with the day's announcements. To the nearly 2,800 students and staff in the building, this was an ordinary school morning. But within minutes, everything would change. At approximately 8 a.m., 15-year-old freshman Jared Paget arrived at Reynolds High. He was carrying a guitar case and a large duffel bag. To anyone watching, it might have looked like he was heading to music class or sports practice. Inside, however, was a deadly arsenal: an AR-15 style rifle, a handgun, and 9 loaded magazines of ammunition. Paget slipped into the school unnoticed, blending in with the crowd of students. No one could have known what he was about to do. Only minutes later, just after 8:10 a.m., chaos erupted. As students settled into their first period classes, the sound of gunfire shattered the morning calm. Paget fired his rifle in the boys' locker room area near the gymnasium. His first victim was 14-year-old freshman Emilio Hoffman, who was fatally shot. Emilio, described by friends as kind, funny, and full of life, had simply been in the wrong place at the wrong time. The echo of the gunshots reverberated through the hallways. Panic spread instantly. Within moments, teachers sprang into action. The school went into lockdown. Doors were slammed shut and locked. Lights were turned off. Students crouched beneath desks, silencing phones, texting frantic messages to their parents. One student later recalled, "We didn't know what was happening. We just heard loud pops, and then the announcements telling us to stay in class. Everyone was crying. We thought it was the end." For those trapped in hallways or bathrooms, fear took over. Some ran out of the building, sprinting across fields and into nearby neighborhoods. Others huddled in closets, waiting for police. At 8:11 a.m., the first 911 calls began flooding in. Within minutes, Troutdale police, Multnomah County deputies, and SWAT teams swarmed the campus. More than 100 officers would ultimately respond. Students inside classrooms could hear sirens outside, helicopters overhead, and the heavy footsteps of tactical teams clearing hallways. The sound of boots and shouts echoed against the walls. Police moved methodically, searching room by room, evacuating students in groups with their hands raised. Officers instructed them to leave backpacks behind and run. The images of frightened teenagers filing out of the school would soon flash across national television screens. By 8:30 a.m., officers had cornered Paget in a restroom near the gymnasium. The confrontation was brief. As police closed in, he turned the gun on himself and took his own life. The entire ordeal, from the first shot to the last, lasted less than 20 minutes. But for the students and staff of Reynolds High, those 20 minutes felt like an eternity. Outside the school, parents gathered in shock. Many had received texts from their children, frantic, heartbreaking words sent in what they feared could be their final moments. "Mom, there's a shooter. I love you. I don't know if I'll make it out." Helicopter news footage captured the scene. Officers with rifles, students being led away, parents embracing their children in tears. The parking lots, once filled with school buses and student cars, became sites of reunion and grief. For Emilio Hoffman's family, however, there would be no reunion. In less than half an hour, Reynolds High School had become the site of Oregon's second deadliest school shooting. A life was lost. Countless others were traumatized. And a community's sense of safety was forever broken. The halls that once echoed with laughter and footsteps were now crime scenes, marked by police tape, evidence marker, and silence.
From the Coin 6 newsroom, this is breaking news.
And the victim today is 14-year-old Emilio Hoffman. He is a freshman at Reynolds High School in Troutdale, and he is dead tonight after he was shot and killed in the boys' locker room there, and the shooter is also dead. Welcome, everyone, to Coin 6 News at 6. I'm Kelly Day.
I'm Jeff Gianola, and here's the latest at 6 o'clock. Calls for help came in just after 8 this morning. SWAT teams from multiple agencies, as well as the FBI, responded. Reynolds was put on lockdown until it was deemed safe to evacuate students, who were then bused to a nearby Fred Meyer store, where their parents and loved ones were waiting for them. We know the weapon used was a rifle, and that a teacher was grazed by a bullet. He was treated and released at the school. Reynolds continues to be a crime scene tonight until further notice.
And we begin our complete coverage of the deadly school shooting now with Tim Becker, who joins us with more on the student who was killed today. Tim?
Yeah, I'm outside the home of Emilio Hoffman, the victim in this morning shooting at Reynolds High School. Just moments ago, this black car that you're seeing, that's the chief of police of Troutdale Police Department, showed up here once again to talk with and visit with the family. They've also all afternoon had a lot of friends and family continuing to arrive to grieve the loss of Emilio. We want to roll some video we saw just about 15-20 minutes ago. Some people walking in here with flowers. The one young man you'll be seeing, earlier he told me that he is Emilio's brother, actually. He was walking back to the house with a bouquet of flowers. He's wearing a red cap. We've been seeing scenes like this all afternoon long. The hugging and the holding as people who knew Emilio come together. Police have been here asking questions. They continue to do it all afternoon. As I mentioned, the police chief back here now. As for Emilio, we wanted to learn more about him. And as I mentioned, he was a freshman. He played soccer. He coached younger kids at soccer. One of the last accounts I could find of someone actually seeing him alive was from his girlfriend. I spoke with one of her family members on the phone, and she's taking things pretty hard right now, as I'm sure you would imagine. She says the last time, though, that Emilio Hoffman was seen by her was right before class. He was giving her a charger for her cell phone, and then they went their separate ways. Well, we all know what happened shortly after that. A friend of the Hoffman family spoke with us briefly within the last 90 minutes, and here's what he had to say. Can you tell us the circumstances, how he died?
No, at this point, all that we are going to say is please respect the family's privacy, and we are going to make no comments other than what I just said.
What can you tell us about Emilio? Just that we want to know who the person was. It sounds like he was a soccer fan, a soccer player.
All of those are correct, and at this point, respect the family's privacy and a little bit of space, and we're going to make no comments at this point. But thank you, and say your prayers to both the families.
Again, back live here, the police chief just arrived, the Troutdale police chief, just arriving at the home of Emilio Hoffman several minutes ago to visit with the family. Friends and family continue to visit. The family of the girlfriend of Emilio Hoffman has asked also that we respect their privacy, and we're choosing to do that as well. Reporting now live in Troutdale, Tim Becker, Coin 6 News.
Well, Tim, thank you. And we have confirmed a teacher was wounded in the school shooting.
That is Steve Alexander, who is going to be coming to the podium there with the sheriff's office, Multnomah County. Let's listen in. He's getting ready to see if we're all ready. Behind him on the right is the sheriff.
We'll start today, same format as this morning. We'll have Chief Scott Anderson from the Troutdale Police Department speak first, and then Linda Florence, the superintendent of the Reynolds School District, will talk, and then Mayor Doug Doust, Troutdale City Mayor, will be up after that.
Unfortunately, we had a very tragic incident this morning at Reynolds High School. One student is deceased as a result of a lone gunman who entered the school. The lone gunman was also deceased at the scene. We are in the process of notifying the next of kin for both. We have tentatively identified the shooter, but we're not confident enough at this point to reveal the details I can tell you that the weapon that was used is a rifle. In addition, one teacher was injured with non-life-threatening injuries. The teacher was treated at the scene. Not related to this incident, and during the evacuation process, a gun was found on one person. This is not believed to be a part of the incident. That person was taken into custody. The investigation will take some time, as you can imagine, and we have several tactical teams working through this investigation at this time. For reunification for the families, we have located a spot at Wood Village Fred Meyer for parents to respond to pick up their kids. I want to thank all the law enforcement agencies that came to assist us, as well as the non-governmental agencies such as the Trauma Intervention Program. There will be several days of healing and ongoing attention given to the students and the staff and anybody impacted by this tragedy. I also want to thank Superintendent Florence. We have 2 school resource officers at Reynolds High School. They were the first responders, and they responded immediately. They and another tactical team brought this to conclusion, and I can't thank them enough. Now I'd like to introduce the Superintendent, Linda Florence.
This is such a tragedy, and my heart goes out to the individuals involved and to their parents. I too want to especially thanks to our first responders. Those are our school resource officers. And for our students and staff who did some real quick thinking and went into lockdown within seconds of hearing about the active shooter. I also want to thank our students and staff and teachers who did an excellent job, a calm job of evacuating the school today, and for implementing all of our safety procedures that we have at the school. Parents are meeting their students at our Fred Meyer Wood Village parking lot and being checked out with our school staff. Students who need mental health, someone to talk to. We have lots of counselors available. And for students who are already at home and need some additional help, I have a phone number for them to call. Multnomah County Mental Health at 503-988-4888. Later today, we'll be also notifying our parents and students of school closure. There are some things that we will have to do, some work that has to be involved. And so later on today, we will be notifying them of that. So thank you.
Hello, I'm Doug Dowse, the mayor of Troutdale. This has been a very unsettling day for our precious city. I've been on the cell phone all morning long with the national news media. As you can imagine, they've shown quite a bit of interest in what's going on in this small city suburb of Portland. I've been on the phone constantly with media back east. I really want to say, though, that, and I shared with them, that I'm very impressed with how the police handled this whole operation. I think going through a dry run a few months ago helped, and the school police officers helped a lot. But I am very impressed with the cooperation amongst all the police departments that showed up, and there were a lot of them. I was watching on the news to see how many police departments showed up along with the sheriff's department. So my heart goes out to all the families, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll have another media briefing tentatively set for 4 p.m. this afternoon, same location. We'll let you know once we confirm that. I do have a few things. Reunifying students with parents, again, is occurring at the Wood Village Fred Meyer parking lot. The parents, if you're looking for more information about your students or have not been able to contact your student, you can contact the Reynolds School District. Their main number is 503-661-7200. But that is where we are taking the students to reunify with parents, and we'll be at that location until we make sure everybody has connected. The Troutdale Police Department has set up a tip line for witnesses or anyone that has seen, that saw part of the incident or knows information about the incident. That number is 503-250-7943. Witnesses can call that line. It is staffed, so there will be somebody there. The Multnomah County crisis line is also available for those having mental health crises or dealing with the traumatic experience. And that number, again, as Linda mentioned, is 503-988-4888. Now, we also have a team set up at the Mount Hood Community College. It is now in place, and from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., crisis counselors will be at the Mount Hood Gymnasium. If people want to stop by and talk with one of the mental health counselors, they're made up of the Multnomah County Health Department, the FBI Victims Assistance Team, as well as the Reynolds School District and the Trauma Intervention Program volunteers. They also have people there as well. That runs from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. today, and then it's going to reopen and be available 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. For anyone that wants to drop in and talk with a crisis counselor, they are available. There's been a lot of misinformation about when the people can get their vehicles, their backpacks out of the lot or from the school. At this point in time, the investigation is continuing. We do not expect to be able to be releasing vehicles, backpacks until much later, probably tomorrow at this point. So please, once we know, we will announce that via the Reynolds School District as well as through the Troutdale Police Agency and Multnomah County Sheriff's Office flash alert.
Can you just clarify that there was a lone gunman? We've been hearing reports that were possibly more shooters.
I can confirm there was one shooter. One shooter. The shooter is deceased, and we're in the process of identifying that person and making notifications. So once that's done, then we can give you more details later on today. At this point, we're still confirming the identification of the individual. Once we know that, then we can give you further details. That will be later on today.
Where was this other arrest made? The other person was arrested on a firearm violation.
My understanding during the course of the evacuation, unrelated to the incident, a person was located that had a firearm on them. They were taken into custody uneventfully, and it is unrelated to this incident entirely.
Where, though? Because we have pictures of a guy at a clinic on 257 Drive.
Okay, I'll work on details for that later on today, and we'll confirm the arrest location.
Can you tell us how the shooter died?
One more question here. What? Those details will come out later today once we have more information and we're available and have it confirmed to give to you. It's a long, lengthy investigation. We're in that phase now, and right now we're also concentrating on reuniting students with their parents and making sure they have resources available if they need them. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you later today. 4 o'clock is a tentative next start for the next briefing. I'll let you know. I'll let you know when we talk later on today. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we've been